Hello students, welcome to the lecture series of the poem Rabbi ben Ezra for class BA part 2nd. Now we will begin with stanza number 4 of the poem. Stanza 4 begins as, "Poor want of life indeed were men but formed to feed on joy, solely seek and find and feast. Such feasting ended, then as sure as unto men, ox care the crowful bird, fret out the more crammed beast." In this stanza, Rabbi again directly opposes Omer's eat, drink and be merry philosophy. In other words, life is more than just joy and feasting. According to Rabbi, it is poor want of life if a man only thinks about joy and remains busy in feasting, because this type of happiness is transitory. रब्बी के अनुसार अगर एक व्यक्ति केवल जॉयस के बारे में, अपने इंजॉयमेंट के बारे में सोचता है और उसी में वो बिज़ी रहता है, फिस्टिंग में बिज़ी रहता है, तो दैट इज़ ए पुअर वांट ऑफ लाइफ। तो जीवन की इस तरह की इच्छा जो है वो बहुत ही पुअर है, बहुत ही पुअर वांट ऑफ लाइफ है, because this type of happiness is transitory. The end of this type of feasting is as sure as the end of man. The stanza ends with rhetorical questions. Ox care the crowful bird, frets out the more crammed beast. Here Rabbi wants to say that a bird whose crop is filled or a beast whose stomach is full is not troubled by any other doubt. So the line means that the sated bird or beast feels nothing beyond its fullness. But there is a difference between animal and human beings. The last line of this stanza is a good example of the obscurity of Browning as opposed to the directness of Ezra. Now stanza 5. Rejoice we are allied to that which doth provide and not partake, effect and not receive, a spark disturbs our cloth. Nearer we hold of God, who gives, than of his tribes that take, I must believe. In this stanza, Rabbi describes his belief in God and he talks about the generous nature of God. He says that happily we are agreed to that which does provide and not participate in the activity of joy, that only gives and does not receive. Here Rabbi refers to impact of God on human beings. God जो है, we are happily enjoy to that which doth provide. God provide us, and God himself does not participate in our enjoys. He just give and does not receive. We are disturbed by a spark and feels nearness to God. Here Rabbi differentiates God from his tribes. According to Rabbi, God's tribe are willing to take, but on the other hand, God always gives. When we are disturbed by the spark, we realize this truth and we find ourselves nearer to God. This is the firm belief of Rabbi ben Ezra. तो यहाँ रबी ben Ezra जो है उनका बिलीफ है that we are disturbed by a spark, कि जो गॉडली स्पार्क है, गॉडली इंस्पिरेशन है, उसकी वजह से हम अपने आप को गॉड के नज़दीक पाते हैं. Stanza number 6. Then welcome each rebuff that turns earth's smoothness rough, each sting that bids nor sit nor stand but go. Be your joys 3 parts pain, strive and hold cheap the strain. Learn nor account the pang, dare never grudge the through. Stanza 6 is again in direct opposition to Omer and his sorry scheme of things, because here Rabbi places value on life's problems. इस स्टैंजा में रब्बी ben Ezra ने लाइफ की प्रॉब्लम्स की क्या वैल्यू है, हाउ दे आर इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, that has been described. Rabbi says that we should welcome each misfortune that turns earth's smoothness rough, that makes our comfortable life difficult. Each sting should be welcomed that says, not sit, nor stand, but go. Or we can say, each problem of life inspires us to move forward. So Rabbi Ben Ezra thinks that three parts of our joys are pain. So we should struggle hard and ignore the strain. As he writes, hold cheap the strain. We should learn from these problems and should not count the pain. Finally, poet ends the stanza by suggesting that we should face each problem with courage and should not complain about our problems and pain. So these problems are part of our development process. Paradoxically, they are not problems but valuable lessons of life. So यहाँ रबी बैन इज़रा ने कहा है कि हमारे जीवन का जो जॉयस है उनका थर्ड पार्ट जो है, थ्री पार्ट्स जो है उसका, वो पेनफुल है, पेन से भरा हुआ है. एंड वी शुड स्ट्रगल, और उससे हमें स्ट्रगल करना चाहिए. एंड वी शुड लर्न फ्रॉम दीज पेन्स. पेन्स हियर रेफर्स टू प्रॉब्लम्स. तो इन प्रॉब्लम्स से हमें कुछ समझना चाहिए. एंड वी शुड शो अ डेयर और करेज, एंड वी शुड नेवर कंप्लेन अबाउट दीज प्रॉब्लम्स. So we can say that in this stanza, Rabbi gives a valuable lesson to its audience. Stanza 7. For thence a paradox which comforts while it mocks. Shall life succeed in that it seems to feel? What I aspired to be and was not comforts me. A brute I might have been, but would not sink in the scale. In this stanza, Rabbi talks about a paradox, that a life which seems fail is a successful life. He says that what he aspired to be and could not become gives him comfort, because although he was low-bred or uneducated, but he is determined not to become a lesser man. The phrase sink in the scale means to become diminished in the respect of other people. Rabbi Ben Ezra is thus saying that it is a paradox that both mocks and comforts him, that his failures in life are in a way a success. While he did not succeed at what he tried to do, he also did not become a brute. कि उसे सफलता नहीं मिली है, जो वो बनना चाहता था वो नहीं बन पाया, लेकिन साथ ही साथ he also did not become like a animal. वो एक एनिमल की तरह भी नहीं बना है, बीस्टली बिहेवियर भी उसमें नहीं आया है, which that success might have caused him to be. और हो सकता है उसे अगर सफलता मिलती तो he would have become a brute. So he is happy about his failures. It gives him comfort. Stanza 8. What is he but a brute, whose flesh has soul to suit, whose spirit works lest arms and legs won't play? To man propose this test, thy body at its best, how far can that project thy soul on its lone way? Rabbi begins the stanza with the rhetorical question that what is he but a brute, whose body has soul, but his spirit works as his arms and legs wants to play. He suggests, proposing a test to man, that he should use his body at its best to check that how far it can project his soul on its long way. तो यहाँ रबी बैन इज़रा ने एक टेस्ट प्रपोज किया है ह्यूमन बींग्स के लिए, दैट दे शुड यूज़ देयर बॉडी एट इट्स बेस्ट, कि स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ के लिए उन्हें अपनी बॉडी को कैसे यूज़ करना चाहिए. सो रबी refuses to chastise youth for the frustrated ambitions, doubts and confusions and unsatisfying pleasures that serve the useful purpose of redirecting human striving for higher spiritual goals. Humankind was born to struggle and aspire and not to rest as animals do, in satiety of low material pleasures. A divine spark energizes the human heart into undertaking a quest for infinite satisfactions centered in God.